ARK Investment Management's founder and Chief Investment Officer Cathie Wood is no stranger to making aggressive bets on Tesla. She spoke on Barron's recently and warned that traditional carmaker GM would go bankrupt. Cathie Wood feels that GM invested too little too late, and that electric vehicles will continue to eat into the market share of gas-powered vehicles, forcing traditional car manufacturers to face a reckoning. Today, we'll examine why I think GM will go bankrupt in this video, as well as the data to back it up. But first, if this is your first visit to our Smart Stocks Academy channel, please accept my warmest greetings. Hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell next to it to be the first to know when we have a new video like this. So if you're ready, let's get to the video. Many automakers have pledged to phase out all internal combustion engine vehicles from their lineups within the next decade or two, and General Motors is no different. GM has stated that it hopes to have all-electric lineup by 2025. However, it appears that not everyone in the organization believes that this can be accomplished so quickly. Not long ago, Joe Biden commended Mary Barra and GM for dominating the electronic vehicle race, but he omitted to include Tesla in his address.
Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
Musk claimed that Biden is prejudiced and that he purposely overlooked Tesla because the company is not unionized.
You know, like Biden held this EV summit. Didn't invite Tesla. Invited GM, Ford, Chrysler, and UAW. An EV summit on the White House. Didn't mention Tesla once, and praised GM and Ford for leading the EV revolution.
In the third quarter of 2021, GM sales fell by 33% to just 446,997 units. They've lost 218,195 units from last year. They're blaming it on disruptions on the semiconductor supply chain, despite the fact that Tesla's sales are climbing year after year. One thing to keep in mind is that electric vehicle requires 10 times the amount of chips as ICE automobiles. Despite that fact, Tesla sales are increasing every quarter. It clearly demonstrates what customers require. GM is plainly using the incorrect product. It is no secret that Tesla and Musk have played a key role in the development of electric vehicles. But when competitors recognize the electric car companies and its frontman's importance, is almost like a bonus feather in the cap. Daisu, who has been a longtime supporter and friend of Musk, has lauded Tesla on numerous occasions for being a trailblazer. Ford has acknowledged Tesla's pioneering contribution in the electric vehicle sector. CEO Jim Farley commended Musk's effort as the industry benchmark, although GM, which presently sells no electric vehicles, claims to be the industry leader and refuses to recognize Tesla. GM head Mary Barra humiliated herself during a recent interview with Andrew Sorkin. Barra refused to accept Tesla's existence and brushed aside all questions regarding the company.
Everybody, I think, looks at Tesla and they say, look at this thing, $1 trillion. That's the opportunity set. And the question is whether that's really the opportunity set or whether there is, dare I say, an overvaluation. Even Elon Musk has said he believes the company's overvalued. And so whether you're trying, that's going to come down and you're going to get to the middle, that's the goal, or you think actually that is the opportunity ultimately.
I think when you have to look at the value creation that can happen, because it's not just electric vehicles, frankly, I think is even more of an opportunity is the fact that the vehicle is a software platform. And we started rolling out the electrical architecture to support that back in 2019. We just announced Alta 5 that allows us to quickly update and roll out things to customers after they buy the vehicle.
This is especially true given GM's troubles, the lack of current electric vehicles on the market, and the fact that EVs will not be sold in large volumes anytime soon. Sorkin went a step further by constantly pressuring Barra to at least acknowledge Tesla's leadership accomplishment, but she stood firm and refused to give him even a shred of credit. To be clear, Barra kept to President Biden's story that GM has been the electric vehicle leader and will not give it to anyone. Tesla sold around 500,000 cars in 2020. They have already sold approximately 640,000 in 2021. To put things in perspective, Chevy sold roughly around 20,000 Bolts in 2020. The fact that she refuses to address Sorkin's follow-up questions or give credit where credit is due clearly demonstrates where GM is headed. GM also declared in October 2017 that it would release 20 new electric vehicles by 2023, just over a couple of years from now. And what's the best way to make that happen? GM's booth was empty at the recent LA car show. After all, this is California, one of the world's largest electronic vehicle marketplaces, where half of the US electric vehicles are sold and the electric revolution began. Californians want anything revolutionary and fresh first, and they want it now. Even Toyota, which is notoriously anti-EV, brought their BZ4X, while Subaru, who has had a national parks-themed exhibit full with nature-destroying gas cars for years, is now showing off their new Solterra. At the very least, they tried to greenwash a little. So certainly GM, which was all in on electrification and intended to be fully electric by 2035 and has been credited with energizing the auto industry, would provide something, right? Nope, it appears not. We observed nothing fresh, nothing fascinating, and nothing with a plug after a fast trip through their ghost town of a booth. Most automakers have a rudimentary wall charger display beside a PHEV compliance car with a 5 kilowatt battery, which happens to be the minimum number for carpool and rebate access. However, GM didn't have that. The fact that GM claimed it wouldn't be this way exacerbates the lack of electric vehicles. GM announced in October 2017 that by 2023, they would have at least 20 new all-electric vehicles in the market. Mark Royce, GM's president, emphasized that these aren't just words in a press release war. They increased the target to 30 new EVs by 2025 a year ago. GM was only making one electric vehicle at the time, the Chevrolet Bolt. Since the Chevy Bolt is no longer in production and the Chevy Bolt EV lines are temporarily halted, it is currently manufacturing exactly 0 electric vehicles. GM has had 4 years out of the 5 they set aside to fulfill their commitment, yet they have made no progress. Another justification may be the global pandemic. Although GM had been largely inactive for 3 years prior to the outbreak, the pandemic has only served to highlight how electric vehicles are the way to go, with EV sales skyrocketing despite the industry's overall decline. Instead, GM spent most of that time pushing and fighting to prohibit electric vehicles, so there is no explanation for this poor performance and no charitable perspective from which to view it from. GM is failing horribly in delivering on its promises. They waited almost a year before the Bolt recall before receiving it. The rising pressure on GM to recall the Bolt EV after several cars caught fire while charging has been reported for months. Everything pointed to a battery defect similar to the one Hyundai had with its LG batteries in the Kona EV. However, while the Korean car maker issued a recall to replace the batteries, GM refused to do so. After nearly a year, GM has finally given in and announced that all Bolt EV batteries would be replaced from 2017 to 2022. For the first time, GM blamed LG, and after expanding the recall to include even the most recent Bolt EVs in production, it raised concerns about the current batch of brand new Bolt EVs and EUVs on the market. GM then halted production, blaming it on the chip shortage rather than admitting that their batteries had problems. The company's unwillingness to replace the batteries and admit that there is a problem demonstrates where GM is heading. They can't even make one electric vehicle properly, and claiming to be the leader in electric vehicles is completely ridiculous. It will not be painful to watch GM's lengthy descent into final bankruptcy. Naturally, the government could bail them out with taxpayer funds again, but this is exceedingly improbable. Volkswagen has demonstrated that transitioning to a large industry from millions of fossil-fueled gas guzzlers to cleaner, better electric vehicles is extremely tough and will require a great deal of drive and devotion. Large gas vehicle companies designing and building new electric vehicle platforms will result in temporary earning reductions, layoffs, and a juggling act of phasing out inferior 19th century technology, reduced parts and service revenue, as well as modifying the franchise dealer model to accommodate a new set of customers who are slowly understanding the benefits of direct sales, have added to the pain of dealing with labor unions. GM outsourced 85% of Bolt development to South Korea and discarded their greatest bridge technology, the ERV plug-in hybrid Voltec, in the process. Voltec was ultimately squandered on a 4-seat unsuitable 4-door coupe, destined for a minuscule 20,000 unit per year manufacturer. GM lost thousands of dollars per unit on every Bolt EUV with the plug that was made. Even as Chevrolet dealers discounted Bolt $8,000 to $12,000 to move them off their lots, few EV heads seem to comprehend how economy of scale works. Both enthusiasts would argue that GM was profiting from them. GM is likely to reach a point where they will be unable to keep up. The writing is on the wall when Hyundai, Ford, and Volkswagen begin making 2 to 3 sizes of electric SUVs. The inexpensive electric vehicle subcompact is on the horizon in the not too distant future. The day will be the end of GM and everyone else who has been dragging their feet as much as they have. And with that, today's video comes to a close. If you haven't already, hit the like button below to show your love and support for this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell next to it to be the first to know when a new video is posted. Thank you for stopping by to watch, and we hope you had a great time. We hope to see you again